This video sponsored by Meeple Movers. No minimum order, no subscriptions. Free shipping on every item, every day. At meeplemovers.com.
Hello and welcome to Brian's Got Game. I'm Brian. Today I've got a game called 3 Laws of Robotics. 3 Laws of Robotics is a 4 to 8 player party game with bluffing and deduction elements by Benjamin Candelos and published by Floodgate Games. In this game, players have a hidden roll card. The catch is that you can see everybody else's cards, but you can't see yours. During a round, everyone will ask a single question to try and figure out which faction they are on. At the end of the game, or at the end of the round, you must try to guess who the leader of your faction is and give them your key. Each round adds a funny law that every player must abide by that adds a little twist to each game. So, let's check it out, and I'll show you how to enforce the laws, what happens with emotion suppression, and how to query and find your leader in 3 Laws of Robotics. To set up, you get the number of faction cards depending on the number of players. So here's this little table showing what you need. So we're going to be playing a 6-player game. So we have all 3 factions, 1 through 4. So there. So these are the 3 factions. Right here we've got the robot, the android, and the AI. That'll be easier. And then the art has them little like this for the 1. Now as they get bigger, that's the 1. Here's the 2, so it gets little tracks. And then 3, it's got arms and legs. And then 4 is even bigger. And then all the other ones get bigger too. It's kind of cool. Okay, we're going to set those aside for now. Then we're going to shuffle the law cards and then set them into the middle of the player, in the middle of the table. Then get the victory point cards. Here's 1, 2, and then there's 3 in here somewhere. Just get those and set them aside. Then create a supply of enforcement tokens, number of characters plus 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Randomly select the start player. And then randomly select the start player. We're going to put it here. You are now ready to begin. This game is played over 4 rounds, so we're going to start by giving each player a security key. So everybody gets a security key. Then you're going to deal out all of the character cards. So shuffle these up, and then give them to each player face down. And then during the game, they're going to hold it up to their forehead, right there. So then they can't see what it is, but hold it up on your forehead. They can't see it, but you can. So we're going to just flip all these over so you can see them, because these aren't real people. And yours is going to stay down, like that. But you can see everybody else's. The next phase is the query phase. It starts with the first player, and they can ask any other player a question. And then the player doesn't have to answer correctly, or they don't have to tell the truth. Now the thing is that you usually do want to tell the truth, because if you don't, it can throw off your teammates, and that could be bad. So we're going to start here, and some different questions you can ask are: am I the highest rank you see, which is the number? How many AIs do you see? Am I a robot like you are? Am I the you can ask pretty much anything. And table talk is open. You can say whatever. It's just that you don't want to give your opponents too much information. So I'm going to ask myself to this person: am I an android like you are? Now they are going to say no, because I'm not an android like they are. I just told them that they're an android. They didn't know that, so now they do. So I know that I'm not an android, so I have to be a robot or an AI. Alright, so then we're going to move to the next player. They know that they're an android, but they don't know what rank they are. So looking around, they only see, they could see androids, they could not. And they also know what you are. So depending on what you are, they're going to ask this person, which is you, am I a rank 3 or 4? Which they are going to say yes. So now that they know that they are an android, rank 3 or 4, which is high in this game. Alright, so we're going to go to the next player. They're going to ask, how many robots do you see, to this player? And they're going to say 1. So they know that they're not a robot. So that's one robot. That's not a robot. So now this player is going to ask, they're going to ask if they are, so they know that they're not a robot, so they're going to ask, am I an AI, to this person? And this person will say no, because they're not an AI. So now you know that you're an android, and you know that you're not an Android 3. And you know you're not an Android 4, because they asked if they were an 3 or 4. So that means you have to be a 1 or 2, which means that this person's higher, which we'll get into later. All right, now this player, they don't know anything at this point, except for everybody else. So they're gonna ask this player, how many AIs do you see? And they will say 3. So that means that AI, that means that you have to be an AI, and there's an AI 4, which is the highest possible number. So that's their leader. And then this person, they know next to nothing except that they don't see any robots, and they know that other people saw one robot. So they don't really need to ask a question because they know what they have. So they're going to ask you if they are a rank 4, and they will say no. All right, now the next phase is where you give all of your security keys. So we're going to start with this player, and they are going to give their security key to they're going to try to give their security key to the highest person of their faction. So they want to give this to the highest AI. There's 1 AI, there's a 2 AI, but they know that they are a 4 AI, so they're going to keep it. This person knows that they're the highest android, they're going to keep it. This guy, he knows that he's not a robot, and he's going to also give it here. This guy, we know who our person was, and let's say that they forgot what happened earlier, and they're going to give it to this player. All right, then we're going to flip over all your cards, so then you see what you are, and then you resolve it. So we're going to score points. So we're going to start with the AIs. So since the AI leader got 1 or more security keys, everybody on that team gets 1 point. Okay, everybody on the Android team gets 1 point because they also got at least 1 security key to their leader. And then the robot team, he gets a point because he got his own. Then you find the team with the most security keys. Right now it's tied. If this player, instead of giving their key there, had given it here, everybody on this team would have gotten 1 additional point because they had more keys than everybody else. And then if a team of only 1 player, so this robot is a team of only 1, got 2 or more keys, they get an additional point because they tricked somebody into thinking that they were on their team. Then you would give everybody a security key. You move your points so they're not in the way. Then you gather up all the roll cards and then shuffle them up and deal them out again. And don't forget to shuffle in the ones you removed from last time. And then we're going to reveal a law. So now, emotion suppression. Players must speak in a robotic, monotone voice. Now, you have to speak like this, and if somebody catches you not doing this, they will say error and point at you. Then they will take one of these error tokens, and that is plus 1 point at the end of the round. So then the round continues in the same way. The first player token passes to the left, and then at the end you score points like last round. And then you will have to reveal another law in round 3. So now players cannot ask the highest ranking player they see. So right now we cannot ask that robot any questions. Then on the 4th round you will reveal a 3rd one. Players cannot make hand gestures. So if I caught this person making a hand gesture, or since I pointed, somebody caught me, they would say error, take one of these tokens and get plus 1 point at the end of the game. Now some of these are actually kind of cool. So like this one is players must say end of line after any query, and then queries must be 5 or less words. This one's terrible. Players cannot smile or frown, which isn't a problem until you get the card out. Players must answer queries by making a beep sound, once for yes and twice for no. Players must say checking databases before answering any query. So some of these are really cool and hard. Now there are some special packaged ones in this little pocket. So warning, stack overflow. This envelope contains 3 additional law cards that are known to cause complicated logical loops and challenging chains of error handling. So I'm going to read them out loud, or one of them out loud, but it makes it really hard because you'll understand when I say it. So players cannot tell the truth to AIs. So if an AI asks you a question, you have to answer their thing falsely. Same for androids and robots when those come out. So those are kind of crazy. And one last thing is that when you're a one player and somebody asks you a question about what faction they're on, you want them to believe that they're on your faction, so then you can get the bonus point. So that's a good time to lie. So you play 4 rounds after each round revealing one of these, and then you count up your points, and the player with the most points wins. That's how to play 3 Laws of Robotics. Okay, I've got my dad here for a parent's opinion. So Dad, what did you think of 3 Laws of Robotics?
I thought that 3 Laws of Robotics was a great party game. It plays up to 8, I believe. And the more people you have, the crazier it gets.
Yeah. In a 4-player game, it's pretty easy. There's only 2 factions, and then it's easier.
Yeah, I think you only play with 1 through 4. You still play with 1 through 4.
1 through 4 with 2 factions.
So there's only 8 cards, and you are dealing out 4 of them. So you're using half of the possibilities.
So pretty easy. But the more players you get, the more chaotic and the crazier it gets.
Yeah, adds the 3rd faction. You play 1 through 5. So there's more chances that you may be the only person on your faction, and then it gets really hard.
Yeah.
I think the first few rounds that we played with 4, and we were kind of playing it more like a co-op. We were trying to help each other, but then as soon as we started scaling it up and playing with more and more people,
now you're just trying to help yourself.
Yeah, and then it was actually very hard.
Yeah, for the people who had no idea what was going on, they're like, I'll keep mine. But on large teams, that could benefit you by. If you're on a large team and your leader got at least 1 card.
Yeah, I remember there was one time where I guess my mind was not in it, and I just kept asking bad questions. But I kept benefiting from somebody else being on the large team and somebody else giving their key to the leader.
Yeah. So components, it's a card game. The one thing it doesn't come with is headbands, but that makes sense because it's a little box.
Yeah, it would help. Otherwise, you kind of sit there and hold your thing up. I guess a lot of people have card holders. You could put them in.
Oh
there,
yeah.
You need to be not looking at your own card.
But holding them isn't that bad. I mean, we did that all the time. So we played. It worked fine. I actually kind of liked it. It's actually probably making headbands with copyright problems.
Maybe, I don't know. But it just adds cost.
Yeah.
More than anything.
And you need a bigger box.
This is a small box game.
Yeah. I think I like it better how it is.
Yeah. There are some cards. There's some cards for counting points, which I thought was a little bit finicky.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just you're counting up your points. If you find another way to do that, okay, you can do that. Or they provide cards to do that.
Mm-hmm. So artwork, I noticed on all the cards, like all the rank and faction cards, from robots 1 to 5, the first little robot is like a toaster, and then he grows legs, and then he gets arms, and he starts getting bigger, and then at the end, the robot's got like a rocket launcher on his shoulder.
Yeah, the artwork is really cool. They do that for all the factions, where the lowest one is kind of a little baby thing.
A little AI,
and it grows
looks
up.
like a 20 questions thing.
Yeah.
And then it get bigger, 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 bigger. It's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. It was pretty cool they did with the artwork.
Mm-hmm. And then the point cards have little rocket ships on them.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. I really liked the touch on the ranks. I thought that was really cool. And strategy. There's a lot of stuff for this little game.
Yeah, it's very logic driven, which makes sense with robots.
Yeah.
And there is kind of a theme about maybe coding or software. A lot of the laws that we haven't gotten into yet have to do with software development. And those types of things about querying databases,
checking database,
end line, new line type things. And so I mean, being a software person, I thought that was really cool. It added charm to the game, and some of those were really funny.
No, I am not the highest robot you see. End line.
Yeah. I really liked the ones that you just did where you had to, say end line or say something at the end. Those are always kind of funny. And then the more you get, right, like every round, you got to do like 3 of them. And so that just kind of adds I think more fun and laughter to the game.
I think my favorite ones for like fun were those, and then my least favorite one was the emotion suppression one. You have to have because face you can't frown or smile.
Inevitably, somebody's doing something funny or goofing around, and so then you start laughing, and then everybody loses a point.
And you must speak in robot monotone.
That one is funny.
And then you smile, and then you lose. And then the ones in the little packet were cool.
Oh, yeah.
So you ask me, am I an AI? If you are a robot and it says I cannot tell the truth to robots, then I would have to say yes.
Which just throws all the logic out the window.
Especially if you have all 3. Well, if you had all 3 out there, then anything anybody asks you is the opposite.
Yeah.
So that
would be a neat game to do.
That wouldn't make sense as much. But if you had like 1 or 2 of them in there, that'd be cool. Easier for kids. Yeah, we played it with Aiden and Lincoln.
Yep. So 8 and 11.
Yeah.
It's super easy. But I will say that the more players you add, the more complicated the logic gets. They weren't following, all of the logic that, if they're the last ones to ask a question, there's a lot you can glean from everybody else's answers that would kind of steer you towards asking a certain question. Yeah. That all went over their heads. But I think it's a still fun game to play with little ones. There's really no reading except for maybe the law cards, but somebody else can read
numbers. Those. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then kind of like what
preschool and up.
what questions to ask is really the hard thing.
Yeah, and they on the back of the rules they provide some example questions, which kind of help. That I thought was cool too.
Am I a robot like you?
No.
All right. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this. We finished it and then deal out the cards, play again. It was really cool.
Yeah, the games are really quick. You can play multiple games, per night, or per setting. And so that is really nice. And then it plays large groups, which is also nice.
Yeah, if you have large groups, we had to come play this game. We need friends. So yeah, 3 Laws of Robotics by Floodgate Games. Thank you for watching. Brian's Got Game. Please like us on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet at Brian's Got Game. Visit our webpage, briansgotgame.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Brian and this is my dad, and I'll see you next time.